everybody, I'm Elyse Explosion, and I have a story to share today. I've actually been sitting on this one because I initially wanted to tell everybody right when it happened, but I thought there might have been some kind of let's just say I might have gotten in trouble at work. There might have been some details that would have been a bit too,
Detailed?
But since I'm no longer employed by this company, I feel like it's finally time for me to share the story about the time I dropped my cell phone down a well. So, I would say it was about September, October of 2018. And I had just transitioned into a new role at work. And I had started on a project where I was doing groundwater sampling by myself. Now, groundwater sampling is not super uncommon, but it might not be something that you understand without some background information. So it is basically what it says on the tin. It is sampling the groundwater. But in order to access the groundwater, this isn't just like puddles or stuff like that. Though that water is technically on the ground, it is considered surface water. Groundwater is what is inside the earth and the water table. So there's basically a certain level that it'll reach, and you need to sample down to that. In the area I was working, groundwater was routinely at about, I'd say 5 to 6 feet below ground. So I'd started on a project where I was doing sampling off-site. I worked at a major facility, and they were concerned that the contamination was spreading off-site, that the petroleum compounds were flowing in a direction that was beyond their control, and therefore it needed to be monitored far away from where the initial contamination happened. So I was basically parked on the side of the road. You know, it was a nice grassy median with Belgian block curb. There was a street sign and a stop sign. It was a really nice little area for basically an industrial zone. So I'm there. It is a beautiful sunny September day. It's a little warm, but it's a little cool. And the protocol for my company was that we were required to wear long sleeve shirts while we were doing our project. It was a safety hazard. That was what they considered. It was very important that we needed to do that. I had on a black tank top with a flannel over top. So that, when I was in the vehicle or off-site, I could take the flannel off and cool down, but therefore when I was working, I could still have my arms covered. So one of the things that I had difficulty with was that there were a lot of things that required me to use my phone, whether as a timer or if I needed to contact the project manager if I was having an issue with the sampling. And also there was a lot of downtime while I was waiting for the water to purge from the well. Some of these wells were very deep and some of them were very large. So it would take 2-3 hours to get a full purge of the water taken care of. So I'm at this well and I'm literally just sitting on the side of the road. I flipped over a bucket and I am sitting on this bucket with my phone just kind of flipping through. My alarm went off. I put my phone in the pocket of my flannel. I collected my sample. I used my baler. I pulled out the sample. I filled the bottleware. I labeled everything. I put it away. And as I am going to remove the tubing and the measuring tape from the well, I bend over too far and my phone falls out of my pocket, blip, blip, splash, straight down this well. Normally, the wells are typically about 2 inches in diameter, which would be too small for a cell phone to fit down. However, these off-site wells were 4 inches in diameter, which was the perfect size for my Samsung Galaxy S7 to fall clear down. And I panic. I use the on-site walkie-talkies to call for our safety guy, and I'm like, I need you to come out here. This is very important. And he comes out and he's like, well, why didn't you just call me? And I said, well, because it ain't here. And it was a problem because one of the issues, normally with like a thing like a pen or some sticks or something, a lot of times they would just get left down there because it wouldn't have an impact on the groundwater. However, cell phones have lithium batteries, and if left underwater, the lithium of the battery will start to leach out and possibly impact the groundwater, which is the exact opposite of what we wanted to do. So we rallied the troops to see if we could figure out how to get this phone out of this well. Did I mention that the well was 23 feet deep? I guess I didn't. So my phone is sitting in 17 feet of water underground at a depth of 23 feet. Which is a problem, because you can't just really reach down and grab it. It's very deep. And cell phones are heavy. One of the things they tried to do was, a lot of times when like a baler or something gets stuck down a well, they send like hooks down and they can just loop the string and pull it back up. Unfortunately, cell phones are heavy and you can't do that. So it was all hands on deck brainstorm. But before that, I had to go inside and compete in our chili cook-off, which I won. All the time, not having my phone.
So you couldn't tweet about it?
So I couldn't tweet about it. I do actually have a picture of me winning this chili cook-off that a coworker took of me. And you can see the flannel shirt in question and why it was so dangerous. So that whole afternoon, some of my coworkers tried their damnedest to get this phone out of the well. They sent hooks down, they sent long poles down, but this is 23 feet, and this is a problem. My supervisor at the time fancied himself a very improvisational kind of fellow, and tried a whole bunch of stuff. He was also a fisherman, and decided that if we couldn't get it out that day, he was going to come back with his fish finder the next day so we could make sure that it was there. Long story short, we didn't get my phone out of the well that day. I panic, and after work that day, I marched my ass over to Costco, paid off the phone that was underwater, and purchased a brand new, at the time, Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. Which was nice and new, and it didn't have a broken screen at that point in time. But that was like $1,000 spent to pay off the old phone, buy out the new phone entirely, and make sure that I didn't have this issue going forward. It was a lot of panic that night, and I did not sleep well. The next day, I get to work, and I'm still doing my regular sampling. All the while, my supervisor and a couple of my coworkers are still trying to fish my phone out of the well. They had gotten what I think was basically a fishing pole and sent the wire down with some more substantial hooks. They tried to use a big magnet, but phones aren't magnetic. They're not. So you can't just use a magnet to hook to glass. But somehow, thanks to the pop socket on my phone, they were able to hook the back and reel it up. And it got stuck in the screen. Now the screen is a small slotted area, which is where the water comes in. That's the whole point of having a monitoring well. But it got stuck. And then my one coworker stuck her arm down the well and pulled it out. The screams were audible all down the block, and I came running back to see my phone intact and in one piece, and probably most surprisingly of all, on. Ah! So, this phone spent 25 hours under 18 feet of water and still turns on to this day.
Not only does it turn on, but it still runs Pokemon Go, still has like the advanced AR, Just about everything works. It overheats easily, but
it still genuinely kind of works. And that was incredible. I could not believe that. At the time, I had wanted to write into Samsung to be like, hey man, y'all got a great product here. But since I had replaced the phone at that point, it kind of felt moot. It felt like a moot point. But that is the story of the time my phone fell out of my pocket and spent a full day underwater. Moving on from that, I tried my best to keep my phone as far away from the well as possible, or in the truck, which was where it should have been. But we also moved on to using iPads, so it made it a lot easier for us to, like, use timers and things. But this phone is a miracle. It actually is broken now because the glass on the back camera did shatter, but ultimately, like, there's no screen breakage on this one.
the buttons, some of the finish on the buttons.
Yeah, some of the finish on the buttons came off after spending that long underwater, but ultimately it's still in usable shape, which blew my mind. So shout out to Samsung for having a really awesome product. I think that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys are interested in more story times, I've got a whole bunch, and I will link some at the end of this video. Question of the day, did you expect this to turn out that way? Did you expect this phone to still work? Let me know. My social media links are in the description below. If you'd like to stick around and see some more from this channel, hit that little subscribe button. We are on the road to 1K and I'm super excited. If you'd like some more information, click that bell, because if you want to stay in the know, the bell's the way to go. Likes and comments let me know to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep your phones safe, everybody. Later.